So the catch with plastic really is making sure that in Package Manager, your collaborate packages are as up to date as humanly possible.
Okay.
So if I'm looking at, do you see Package Manager or do you just see my
I
game
see.
window in the back?
I see package manager and the window in
Cool.
the back.
Cool. Okay. So it just on my preview it wasn't showing the package manager. So okay. So as long as you've got, if you go into in project and you drop that out to be Unity Registry,
Okay.
this is where all the magic happens. And depending on your version, this will look slightly different. But really, what you want to make sure is that you have the most current. I'm sorry, it's not collaborate. It's version control.
Okay.
And you'll notice that this one, I do have it, but it's not the most current. If I do update to 1.15.16, that's going to bump me up.
Okay.
And that's project by project. So you shouldn't have to do this. This is something a student would do pretty much like for me, it's part of my maintenance. Like when I create a new project, I go in and I update my packages. You should always up your version control, and you should also update your Visual Studio editor.
Yeah, we'd had a problem with the Microsoft Visual Studio with kids having to have accounts with Microsoft, and that. And
you can skip for now, and it usually works.
Yeah, well, some it block after 30 days. It just would.
That's right, 30 days. So do your kids have Office accounts?
No, and it will not. This is the bitch. It will not accept educational domain email addresses. It is the most effed up thing, and I'm like,
I use them every day.
I don't know what's going on. So I'll whatever.
I wonder if maybe it's because my district has set up students with Office accounts so that way, because our email goes through Outlook.com.
Yeah, ours goes through Google. So
that might be why.
Yeah.
Although if there's a Microsoft account, because they should need that for their Office licensing anyways, because they use Microsoft Office, I'm assuming, right?
Well, we found an open source Visual Studio. It's called Visual Studio. It was something, I can't remember the exact name, but some kid found it, and it's free, and it does essentially the same stuff.
Does it allow you to do all your context highlighting and stuff like that? Because that's the real tricky part, is like the autocomplete is a godsend.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and look, because this is a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And it was like a new workaround. So like half my class is using Unity, half is using Construct. And I've had teams jump into Unity and then bail after like a week or two. They're like, we can't do this. They bit off more than they can chew, which is interesting, and they're cool. They're smart enough to go, well, we're going to go with something we already knew, because everybody was on Construct in the beginning, because with COVID and all this other stuff, I wanted to make sure that kids could still work on a Chromebook, because I had kids dropping out of class for like a week.
Right.
And they could be at home and keep working and yada, yada, yada. Even though, because Chromebook is the baseline for everybody. It's like, if it can work on a Chromebook, then we can endorse it. Now that they're in the room, we made the jump at semester to Unity. A couple teams, I think, went a little bit sooner because they felt ready, and because they're on task and getting stuff done. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, this is good. But here's the thing: I have Visual Studios on all the computers, Microsoft one, and this other alternative. I'll ask them. The student who recommended it did some research, and he was really happy with it. So I was like, all right.
Okay, because as long as it has it's IntelliSense is the thing, but it does all the autocompletes and stuff. Mm-hmm. Without it accessing, like I can't even function without IntelliSense working, because like I don't remember, is this chunk of code using collision or collider?
Right, exactly, yeah.
And it's like, there's too much stuff and Unity has way too much stuff to memorize. Back in the day I had it, like Unity just has too much. You can't memorize all of it.
Right.
So so that would be one thing I would definitely point at, is that, because that also, if you're not getting that part of it working, that might also be contributing to some of the students' freakouts with Unity.
Okay.
Because it is ridiculously difficult to use without that working.
Got it. Okay, so this is great. Visual Studio Editor and version control. I'll make sure those are updated. The kids can go in and take a look at it.
And that's, like I said, that's project by project. So they just need to learn how to get into Package Manager and use it.
Up to speed on it. Because that's my.
Because the other thing is half the packages, because I'm looking at Package Manager right now. JetBrains Writer Editor is stupid. Nobody ever uses it. Test Framework is dumb unless you're really, really advanced. In fact, I don't even use Test Framework. Like, it's above me. Timeline is dumb if you're not going to be putting in cutscenes or doing anything with advanced animation. Visual scripting is great if you're going to use it, and it's not if, like, I remove it. And then Visual Studio Code, again, is a dumb one, but Visual Studio Editor is great. But then you also need to upgrade the ones that you're keeping. So, like, just right there in Package Manager, there's a ton going on that you're fresh off the boat freshman has no freaking clue on.
Hey, you know what? That's good to know. But Visual Studio Code, I think that's the editor. Does that sound right?
Oh, that's the one that you guys are using. Okay,
right, that's open source.
That would make some sense.
Okay, because that means you're not using.
I didn't like that one, but I get why it would work. Like, I mean, it makes sense.
Got it. Because that was the one that the kid was like, "Hey, this is free and it could work, and we don't have to have an account." Blah 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 blah.
That's weird that you don't need an account for that because it's still Microsoft.
Yeah. Well,
it's a trimmed down version of Visual Studio.
Right, and that's why I didn't know how they could get around that. But anyway,
also, that one's the only way you can do Java. So if you've got somebody taking an AP Java class, that's what you're going to want for them too. Is Visual Studio Code.
Okay. Well, and what it is I have Visual Studio Editor. Visual Studio's on all the computers, so kids can use that. And if they want to make a Microsoft account on their own, totally fine. So that pathway is there.
But my kids do.
I just can't recommend it as a school, like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I did the same thing. What I basically told my students was, so everybody should have a professional email account anyways that's